Consider supporting Dan the Fireman on Patreon for just $1 a month. More information and link below.
What is up, everybody? Dan the Fireman here, and I want to talk to you about your first few months of riding a motorcycle. These are my tips for that, and hopefully you guys take this to heart because it's very important. It's extremely important that you actually start off on the right foot, because if you practice bad habits, you're going to have bad habits. If you practice good habits, you're going to have good habits. So let's go ahead and start on the right foot with some good habits, all right? And if you like this kind of stuff, please click that subscribe button. It really helps out this channel out, and I would love to have you part of my subscriber base, my group, my DDFM crew. It'd be a lot of fun. I truly appreciate seeing the comments, and I see you guys in the Discord. It's great meeting new people, so I would love to have you as a subscriber. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into it. And the first one, and when I say first one, I'm trying to go in chronological order of when you first start, okay? So let's say the first day you start riding a motorcycle. I would love it if you did some training, okay? Training is number one. Training is always number one. It will be there for the rest of your riding career. You're always gonna be training. I'm training right now. I'm keeping an eye on the road. Practicing one-handed riding, you know. I'm practicing, you know, avoiding all these things. Every day is training. But when you first start riding, I would love it if you guys took an MSF course or a training course of some sort to get you prepared for this, to get you prepared for your riding experience, get you prepared for your riding career. So do some training. Another thing that you could do training if you don't want to take an MSF course, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to. I can understand why you can't. But if you don't want to do that and you want to just do YouTube videos like while you're here because you want to have an idea of what's going on, highly recommend checking some of my videos out, but then checking out MCRider. He has a lot of good videos. He is an instructor and he has a lot of cool things on his channel. So I'll have a link to his channel in the description. Also, I have links to my guides in the description. Now, I have 2 guides right now. They are absolutely free, 100% free. You just click it, you download the PDF, there you go. And the first one is beginner rider tips, basically starting on a motorcycle, how to start on the motorcycle, how to get going. That's kind of like what this video is all about, but this is a PDF format. I also have another ebook, PDF, whatever, for free. It's a motorcycle helmet guide. It'll talk to you about all the different kinds of motorcycle helmets, and it'll talk to you about some of the ratings. And basically, I'm just gonna let you go like right out the beginning. Snell and EC are really great. DOT, I'm not super excited about, but I'll talk about that in the next few bullet points. But definitely do some training. Get some training under your belt. MSF, if you're doing the beginner class, they do provide you with a bike to train on. They do provide, I think they provide you with a helmet, because I think that's a minimum that you have to have. And if you don't have a bike, that is a great way to start. It is an absolute great way to start. But let's say you went out and got your bike. Let's say you went out and you found a bike you really want. It's either, you know, a private party, you found it on Craigslist or Cycle Trader or whatever it is. Or if you went to the dealership and want to get a new bike or a used bike from a dealer, how are you going to get it home? Let's say you just did a little bit of training. Let's say you went out and you did some training at the MSF course. You got experience. You got, you know, a weekend's worth of experience. You've never ridden before that, and you've never ridden after that because you don't have a bike. And you found a bike, you got it, you got your motorcycle endorsement because you got the MSF course. But how are you going to get it home? Do you feel comfortable enough to take your brand new bike home? Me personally, I'm going to use my own story. I didn't feel comfortable taking my bike home. And I didn't take an MSF course. I didn't do any training. I literally went into a dealership, bought this brand new. I think it had like 3 miles on it. I went in there, bought it, didn't have an endorsement, didn't have any gear, didn't know how to ride a motorcycle. This is my very first time ever on a bike with a motor on it. And I asked them to deliver it to my house. So the dealership delivered it to my house, put it in my garage, and from there I started practicing on some surface streets, some neighborhood roads and stuff, and I'll be talking about that a little bit later. But I definitely didn't want to practice my very first time riding through the city to get it home. So have somebody take it home for you. You can have somebody pick it up. Hopefully they can deliver it. But if you're going out to buy from a private party, or if they can't deliver it for some whatever reason, maybe bring a friend that has been riding for a little bit, that is comfortable on bikes, to take it home for you. That's a great option to do if you feel like you don't feel comfortable doing that, but you definitely need to get the bike home. You need to get it home in order to start, right? Let's say you got it home now. Let's say, you know, the bike's there. I'm using myself as an example. I got the bike there. I didn't have my own helmet. My buddy Matt let me borrow one of his spare helmets. I didn't have a set of gloves. I didn't have nothing. I had absolutely nothing. I had a dark tinted visor, and it was at night when I was practicing. So you gotta get gear. You have to get gear. you have to get helmet, gloves, jacket, pants, and boots. And I say boots because I really recommend getting shin protection, definitely getting some really good ankle protection. I recommend motorcycle pants, jacket, gloves, and helmets. Motorcycle stuff, motorcycle specific. Don't get a bicycle helmet for a helmet. Don't get mechanics gloves for gloves. Don't get a cheap leather jacket or a cloth jacket for a jacket, and don't wear regular jeans for riding. I did all that at the beginning. I did all that at the beginning. I had a really nice helmet for my buddy. He had an RI helmet. He let me borrow a full face helmet on that. But I was wearing regular jeans, wearing regular work boots, wearing cheap American Choppers gloves from Walmart, and I was wearing just like a plain t-shirt or like a really shitty cloth jacket. Do not do that. You need to wear proper gear, so get proper gear. I understand you just bought a bike and you might not have the money for the gear, so at minimum, get a helmet. Get a helmet. Please get a helmet. There's really good helmets out there for cheap. Right off the top of my head, the Belt Qualifier helmet, it's roughly $100-something, like $120. Great helmet, ECE certified, I believe, and it's a good helmet. So it's a great helmet to start off on. It's a full face helmet. Go ahead and do it. I have a link in the description to that, and it's a great thing to start on. So you really need to have a helmet minimum. And then I also recommend just getting any type of glove, to be quite honest. If you can't afford motorcycle gloves, if you have a pair of mechanic gloves at home, or if you can buy a pair of mechanic gloves, go ahead, because if your hands get slippery, your hands get sweaty, and you're on a turn and you slip off, you're screwed. You are really screwed. So you really want to have that cloth, leather, whatever contact with the rubber grips. You don't want to have slippery hands on rubber grips or slippery hands on your grips at all, because they can slide off. So you really want to have that contact, that really good contact with your bike at all times. And wear shoes. Don't wear sandals. Don't wear shorts. Wear jeans. Don't wear a t-shirt. Wear something. It might give you half a second of road rash protection compared to like just your skin, but it's still better than nothing. Okay, motorcycle gear will give you like 5 seconds. That's all it really takes, and you really do need to get gear. Okay, do it slowly if you have to. Just constantly keep that in your head that you need to get gear. Another thing you could do is practice in parking lots, and I put that down in here. I'm not on a parking lot, but I'm gonna go find a parking lot. But I also say practice in neighborhoods. I'm all riding with no hands right now. Practice in neighborhoods, especially neighborhoods that are empty, like brand new developments. There's no houses. That is a great place to do. That's how I started. I started in neighborhoods that didn't have any houses. It was a brand new development, and I was just going around in turns and stuff like that. And let's go ahead and find. I'm gonna go ahead and take a pause. We're gonna edit. We're gonna go do a quick jump to a neighborhood here, so I can tell you what I'm talking about. All right, let me go ahead and turn into this neighborhood. But the reason why I like neighborhoods when it comes to practicing your skills, and here, I'll just show you why. I'll just show you why. It's really good. It's really nice, especially if you're able to do it. Not at night, because night's kind of hard to see, especially if there's no lights, but during the day when people are at work. So there's not a lot of traffic. And that's what I love about these surface streets in these neighborhoods, is that there's not a lot of traffic, especially if it's a brand new development and there's no one there anyways. So right here you have plenty of space. You got a whole lane to yourself. You can go slow. It's actually better to go slow in a neighborhood. Here, I don't know where it is in the rest of the world, but here you can only go 25 miles an hour. Okay, so nobody's expecting you to speed. No one's expecting you to keep up with traffic. It's a single lane, and you can practice, different lane positions and everything. You can practice avoiding obstacles. And the cool thing about being in the neighborhood is that people just think you're there to go home. That's it. And you can practice your starts and stops. See, this is a good one right here. This is a good start and stop because this is on a hill. So I'm gonna practice getting up here. And this is what you could do inside a neighborhood. So I'm practicing here. I need to practice my clutch work. I need to practice my throttle response. I need to practice my left and rights. I need to practice, where I'm gonna be putting. This feels, if you do this see how I'm going backwards? If you do this like when you're in traffic, you could hit somebody behind you, or they're gonna honk at you. So it's really good to practice in this type of area. So I'm practicing my throttle. Cool, I'm on a hill. Practicing throttle and clutch. Cool, I'm gonna go back down, practicing throttle and clutch. See, these are all things that you can practice while you're in a neighborhood. Oh, and I moved because there's a car. So I moved because there's a car. So So anyways, we're gonna do that again, but I'm gonna go into other areas because I can also practice my left turns and right turns, and it's very important when you first start riding because you don't want to do that in traffic because the traffic just adds so much more. It adds a lot of stress, it adds a lot of danger because you got a bunch of traffic. So you can practice your slow speed maneuvers. I didn't put my feet down, so you can practice that. So this is actually, it says no outlet, so this is a great opportunity to practice your left turns, right turns, everything. Because usually I know outlets, they're like cul-de-sacs, which are, you know, the dead-end street with the big... last time I said cul-de-sac, people didn't understand what I was saying. So right here is a perfect opportunity to do slow speed left turns. Now this is just a straight up one road. It's not a cul-de-sac. Cul-de-sac has all this filled in with cement or asphalt. But right here, no one's home. I can practice just really slow speed turn, and I can go right. Nobody's driving. I have good eye contact with the road. Cool. Nobody's here. So I can practice my right turns nice and slow, and I'm going to go ahead and practice my left turns. This could be a little bit scary, but you can always stop, and it's like, oh, I don't like the gravel, so I'm going to go a little bit straight. Now I'm going to practice walking the bike on gravel, and there you go. Super easy. Practice your left turns, practice your right turns. Great places to do that, and you could definitely do that in parking lots because parking lots, especially before and after hours, are really good because there's not going to be anybody there. You got a full big area of asphalt or concrete or whatever it is they used to pave the road. Really good area to practice. You can practice your parking, you can practice your start and stops. There's lines on the ground so you can practice your stopping distance, saying, you know, I'm going to stop here, and you go, and then you can practice. You can practice for the beginner exam. Really good areas, and that's what I did when I first started riding. So practice my turn, practice accelerating, and that's it. That's as fast as you can go in the neighborhood anyways. And on top of that, I wanted to go and talk to you about do not rush it. I think this thing's been off a little bit. There we go. Do not rush riding. Do not rush it. This is the first few months. You need to understand you're new to this. You might have had experience on dirt bikes as a kid. You might have had experience, you know, riding a small little bike. It's not the same, especially if you've never ridden on road. Okay, riding on the road is a little bit different. I got a bunch of traffic coming to my left. It is a weird blind turn because, you know, they're coming over the hill. Onto the right, I have people coming down the hill. There's a sheriff, there's an ambulance. I mean, there's just like a bunch of different things. And now I could be stressed out because is there someone behind me? No, cool, there's no one behind me. Do not rush it. You need to ride within your ability, not the bike's ability, okay? So you have to really focus on, if your ability is not very good with traffic, then maybe don't ride in traffic for a while. You definitely have to venture out to practice that, right? You have to practice with traffic in order to be better riding with traffic. So definitely practice it in neighborhoods. Maybe practice in neighborhoods when kids are getting out of school. I'm not saying, you know, run over a kid, but there's been a lot of parents driving, right? Or a lot of people coming home from work. So practice when that's happening so you can practice with that 1 car, 2 cars, 3 cars going 25 miles an hour in a neighborhood going slow. You could practice going slow too. Practice your slow speed maneuvers. You feel comfortable there. Go onto a road that's maybe 35 miles an hour. Go onto a road that's 45, 55, 65. Until you get to the comfortable where you're riding on the interstate with a lot of traffic. You know, riding on the highway is a lot of traffic. But do not ride outside your ability. Now, what we call that in the fire service and everything is practicing outside your scope of practice. So my scope is maybe this. You know, down here is probably like the absolute bare minimum. So my scope is right here, and then over here is like paramedic. I'm an EMT, so I can really only practice in here. If I try practicing out here, I'm not trained for that. If I practice out here, I'm not trained for that. So I only train and I only do what's inside what I know and have knowledge of. I can always expand it. I can expand my knowledge, and then I could be out here. But right now, I'm right here. So same thing with riding as a motorcyclist. At the very beginning, you're right here. Your bike is like way out here. The ability of your bike to perform is way out here, but you're right here. So you really need to start practicing to perform, and I need to slow down because it's a red light. So I can put my hands on the bars. I'm gonna tell you right now, taking your hands off the handlebars was something I couldn't do when I first started riding. But having trust in my bike, wanting to go straight because the gyroscopic and everything, with the whole physics and everything with the bike's tires, and it wants to stay upright. So you start getting more comfortable with keeping your hands off the bike. You start getting more comfortable with your bike and what it can do. And then when you start getting that comfortable, you can start performing at a higher, bigger scope, bigger level, okay? So ride within your ability. So if it starts here and it goes out to here, that's perfectly fine. Ride within your ability. And let's say your ability outpaces your bike, okay? So let's say you get like a really small bike. So right now your ability right here, this is why people say start off on a beginner bike. Beginner bikes, there's differences. And I made a video last week talking about some good beginner bikes, and you guys should check that out too. But your beginning riding could be this. Your beginner bike could be this. You could definitely outgrow that, right? Because if your experience gets any bigger than your bike, then you're gonna probably outgrow it, so you're gonna want a different bike. So if you get like a really powerful bike and you start off here, you can grow into your bike, okay? But do not rush it. Please do not try to get out to here when you first start riding, okay? All right, I think I talked a lot about that. I think I offered quite a bit of that, but like I said, if you guys want to learn more, please, I have a ton of videos on beginner tips. Check them all out. I have this huge playlist. I might condense it a little bit easier so you guys can check it out. But I got a bunch on helmets, armor, all that stuff, and I got those ebooks like I talked about. Those are absolutely free, link in the description. And I would just love to have you guys part of the crew. I'd love to have you guys as part of my base, I don't even know what to call it. It's just so awesome. You guys are like my family. So if you want to subscribe, please subscribe. It definitely does help me out, and I want you guys here. I want you guys here. All right. That said, I hope you guys ride safe, be safe, and I will see you guys later.